welcome to the second most important day of the election, the owner debate day. If you don't understand what a debate is supposed to be like, pretty much we ask questions and the prospective owners answer and debate, My co-host Rin and I will be asking both general and targeted questions to the debatees. There's no mic system, so I'll just button if a debate becomes off topic or too heated. All topics will only last 10 minutes maximum. Now, let's introduce our debatees. Since we don't have political parties, I'll just be introducing their approach to the election. First, we have Marshy. Marshy is known for his well-known slogan, owned before, can own again. He seems to pride himself off being able to make events for the server and is currently the main overseer of Crownhaven. Next,
Marshy,
there's
no.
Poke. Poke values herself on her kind approach to the election, opting not to do any slander or make any advertisements. Lastly, there's Strike, who is our current owner of Mirth. He prides himself on his job well done owning Mirth so far, and says he will continue to bring it to prosperity if elected. Now, we will introduce the questions. So your first question is a general one. What is your vision for the future of Mirthcraft, and what steps will you take to achieve it? We're going to go from right to left, so Marshy will be first and Strike will be last.
All right. So my goal for Mirthcraft is to make it, or to continue for it to be fun, eventful, having new members and just making sure that everyone has a good time. We've run a few events so far that have gone really, really well, so I hope to continue doing that. Not only would I be doing this as the owner, but I want to encourage others to, make their own things, make their own events, do what makes them happy, and not rely on just the owner to facilitate this server, because it's a group thing, not just the owner should have to put in all the effort. So I want everyone to understand that community is very important in this, especially in this server, and that's my goal for if I become the owner.
How do you plan to achieve that?
How do I plan to achieve that? I plan to achieve that by I will start by doing my own events to, get the ball rolling, but then encourage others to, make what they want to make and encourage them to create their own events and create, a sense of community in this server that we already have. So if we can continue to do that, and if we can continue to grow as a community, I think we can keep the server alive, not only as me as the owner, but I think as a community we can keep the server alive by just having fun and creating stuff for people to do to keep coming back.
I see. How about you, Poke?
Similar to Marshy, my campaign revolves a lot around continuing to develop Mirthcraft's sense of community by hosting several events and encouraging others to host events. I think that in particular, we've done a lot of great work as a server to have a community in which there is a lot of activity so far. And I think the big thing that has drawn away from previous Mirthcraft seasons is that activity starts to drop because there is sort of less and less people online, less and less people engaging. And so to really continue to foster this sense of engagement and community, I think that making events easier to run and easier to comprehend is a really big part of that. I've found that a common issue in this server is that frequently polls will be made last minute, and then a lot of people will be busy or not busy, and it's all over the place, and it seems that the word of each individual is not being heard because there's not enough time to hear it. I think that a big part of planning events, we're in charge and helping moderate sort of how this works, would be making sure that things are done ahead of time in order for people with busy schedules to have the time in order to know what's up, and not have a poll that ends while the event it's about has already begun. I've found that that's a pretty common issue. Yeah, just overall, I think that I would be able to help foster this as well because of the fact that I have several years experience professionally planning events for real world events. I have planned events for up to 500 people in real life. And so I believe that I have the skills in order to help others learn how to plan events and plan those events myself. And just in general, I really want to foster a welcoming community where we can continue to accept new players into Mirthcraft and continue to have the resources needed to welcome them. Thank you.
I see, that was well said. Now, Strike, this is all stuff that's kind of jabbing at your current ownership. How do you plan to fix that?
The goal of our campaign is perfection. You know, I've been running Mirthcraft for the past 3 years, and we've tried several different things. And I feel confident in saying that Mirthcraft 8 is the best season of Mirthcraft we've ever had. And I feel extremely confident when I say this. All of the changes that we have made up to this point have been working phenomenally well, not just because they're good changes, but because of the community that Artie and I handpicked, all of you, to make sure that we can do this the most efficiently, and the best way possible to foster this community. There are a lot of problems, absolutely, but there's going to be problems with any owner. Every owner has their own weak spots. We've always been trying to get better about scheduling, and it's tough, especially with people in the GMT time zone struggling to be able to get in our events, but we're trying to hold enough so that everybody can still feel like they're involved. So what about the future? If I'm elected, will this ever change? Yes, that is a promise I can make on my campaign, that we will be better about scheduling these kinds of things. We've made that effort in the past couple of days, and you can see that. Other than that, definitely increasing events, 100%. And with me retiring from content in the near future, I'll have more time to focus on Mirthcraft alone than every other server I'm going to be in. I'll have time to be able to create these events, but not just owner events, helping you create your own events as well. The community is just as important as the owner. More events, better scheduling, and hopefully we'll continue to innovate for the governmental and operations of Mirthcraft with the new house system and the new law system and Mirthcraft Administration Division. We've got a bright future ahead of us, and I see no reason to stop now. Thank you.
All right, you guys have been doing well so far. Now, the next question is, how do you plan to encourage and maintain active participation from all members of Mirthcraft? Again, we're going to go from right to left, so Marshy will start and Strike will end.
I think a good way that I will implement in, making sure that players are active is taking in, feedback from the community, asking them what they want to see, what they want to do, what they want for this server. Because as the owner, you're not just doing server stuff. You're also doing community stuff. That's very important, especially in a server like this where everyone's, friends, everyone's cares for each other. So as the owner, I will make sure that everyone is heard. If someone isn't, in favor of an event or in favor of how something is going, I will let their voice be heard, take in what they say, have everyone else, give their peace of mind and build upon that. If there's issues, we will work about it within the community. And I think if that can go effectively and everyone is satisfied with, having their voice heard, I think that will encourage people to be more active because of their assurance that even if something goes wrong, they know that it can be fixed in, because of the community and because of me as an owner being there for them to help them out.
All right, that was well said. Now, Poke, how about you?
Please remind me of the question one more time. Apologies.
The question is, how do you plan to encourage and maintain active participation from all members of Mirthcraft?
Yeah, I think that a key element of active participation lies within having motivation to log on to the server in the first place. When it's reliant solely on just playing Minecraft without events, oftentimes people can get bored or distracted with other things that seem more urgent. I think thus having a ample amount of events to attend can help encourage people to get on and maintain activity. I think as well a big part of what will encourage people to be on will also potentially be running events. Sometimes people have really cool ideas, but they just don't know how to get started. A big part of this sort of barrier to entry of creating events is that a lot of people just don't know how or don't know how to get started. And I think really being able to spread that information and help teach others about how to get started will help significantly with the activity.
I see. Now, Strike, how about you? How do you plan to encourage and maintain active participation?
Both of them gave fantastic answers. There's really not that much I can put on besides our plans for events in the future on our end and being able to encourage those who haven't made events to try their hand at it. Absolutely a big part is resources and motivation and just general fear of trying something new. We want to be able to help people get past that, help people get the resources they need to make their own events. But beyond that, not just focusing on events, but focusing on the Mirthcraft community. If people are close and everybody considers each other to be a friend on Mirthcraft, you'll be much more likely to play. We'll be focusing on ways to make sure that this community continues to grow, but still maintain its integrity and strength as a community. The bigger it gets, the harder that is to achieve. So we're careful whenever we invite new people, as with the new Friend Friday system. Making events that combine both of these factors, strengthening community and encouraging people to try something they haven't before. For example, a Secret Santa event. It's simple, but it fosters community, and it fosters creativity, and it gives others a chance to participate in something without it having to take up an entire day or it being nerve-wracking for them. We're focusing on events, we're focusing on the integrity of the community, and we're going to be focusing on constantly improving to make sure that everybody's happy. If you're not happy, why would you log in? Thank you.
All right, that was wonderful. Your next question will be, how will you handle rule enforcement and conflict resolution to ensure a fair and enjoyable environment for everyone? We're still gonna go with the same thing. Marshy will start.
Sorry, can you repeat the question one more time?
How will you handle rule enforcement and conflict resolution to ensure a fair and enjoyable environment for everyone?
So going back to what I said with, taking in from the community as a whole, I think that's also very important in the issue of conflict. There are some rules on the server that people need to abide by. If they are to break them, I think they should get, a warning. Me as the owner, I will talk to them personally and say, hey, this is what you did to break this rule. But even if it's not a rule or someone is uncomfortable by what someone did or said or, etc., and they're not, confident enough to confront this person, as an owner, I will talk to them about it, not as in like a rude way, but just talking about how they can, improve or what rule they broke that upset someone or etc. But not only that, I think it's also important to hear both sides of something that may have happened. So if someone is upset by something, I will listen to what they say. And then go to the other side and listen to what they say. And make a decision based off of that. I think listening to both sides is very important in not only in just in just a community sense, but also just in overall. That is the best way to either come up with a a compromise or some way that an issue can be stopped. I think that's very important to do. Is to listen to both sides and just hear them out. So that's how I find is best to deal with problems, especially between two people. But if it's in the sense of rules, I'm gonna go speak directly to them. So that's my sense on that.
This is a little bit of an addition to the question, but this would also apply to the other debatees. How do you plan on minimizing griefing, killing, and stealing?
I think going back to anyway, going back to, I think I would minimize that in the sense of having people be aware of what is, who is surrounding them, who are you surrounding yourself with, because that's also very important. And also, I don't want to implement any, lock chests because I don't think that's fun. That's not fun at all. To do lock chests or anything. So I think it's kind of going on the honor system, but also like respect for others. If you have the respect to be on the server, you were chosen, as Strike said, you were chosen to be on this server. And that should be enough motivation for you to say, hey, I shouldn't steal this. Let me ask this person if I can borrow this and pay them back later. Or let me go get this material myself, because most of the stuff in Minecraft will take, not very long to get, unless it's something really expensive. But that's why we have shops. There's a lot of different shops that we already have up. There's a lot of permits out there that people can, make shops for. So I think it's about, trusting others, trusting yourself. But going to griefing, I don't think we really had any issues with that thus far. It's only really stealing has been an issue, but it's been solved relatively quickly because the people have apologized, given back the items or whatever it was, because of the respect that they hold for the other members. So I think it's not about me as the owner implementing something to impact that, because there's not really been a need for that. I think it's about, showing everyone that it's okay to trust others. It's okay to, just leave something out there and have the respect for others to say, I don't think anyone's going to touch this because it's not theirs. So I think it's very important, especially with a community like this, going back to how I said most of us are friends. I would consider, everyone here to be a friend. And I think if you have that mindset going into this server, it's going to be pretty easy to not be worried about that kind of stuff.
I'd like to object that there have been issues with grieving in this season before, especially with, for example, Poke, actually, your trees. They've been broken repeatedly, yeah?
That is correct. There has been griefing.
And it doesn't even matter if it's a current issue. It will be a future issue as generations come into Mirthcraft. It's something that you have to be prepared for when it happens. Because unfortunately, as much as I love the honor system and, people having the respect for each other to not break their things, it happens. And you need to be ready for when it does. What about that?
Well, I was saying that, I think it's very important, especially in a server, to have backups. If someone is doing something that they shouldn't be doing, you make a backup. Maybe I don't know how often do you do backup, Strike?
I do backups every month.
I think with a server like this, it's very important to do backups maybe once a week, because there's a lot of progress that is being made on this server. It would be if it was like a day before that month where Shrike was gonna make a backup and something crazy happened where we had to go back a whole month, that would be devastating. So I think making backups, making people aware that if they are going to grief or if they're going to break the rules and upset someone, that they are not going to be welcome on this server. I will be implementing that because that is not something that people should just be allowed to get away with. In that regard, I will not be upholding the honor system. I will go into investigation, figure out who did this, why they did it, listen to what they say, but also I know that Poke, you were very upset with your tree being broken down because you spent a lot of time on that, and I'm not sure if you figured out who did that, but it's important to, figure out why they did it, or maybe it was an accident, but like still figuring out and giving a proper punishment because of that, and making sure that it is fixed, repaid, etc. However they can do that in their best way, or as me as an owner, however I can do that in the best way.
All right, thank you so much. Poke, could you answer the question? I'm going to repeat it since it's been a little while. How do you plan to encourage and maintain active participation from all members of Mirthcraft? No, that's the wrong one. Sorry,
Yeah,
my bad.
It's about the.
How will you handle rule enforcement and conflict resolution to ensure a fair and enjoyable environment for everyone, also including minimizing grieving, killing, stealing?
I think that really when it comes to rule enforcement, it depends on the severity, obviously. In general, I think if we continue to sort of foster an environment that encourages communication, a lot of that will help solve a lot of conflict, as well as sort of begin the steps of sorry, apologies, I'm all over the place. Begin the steps of getting to a point where we don't necessarily need to constantly have these big punishments or whatever else. But depending on the severity, of course, it has different repercussions. I think that in a server like this, especially really in any environment, if it is something that, someone is being homophobic or racist or ableist, I think that is very much something that we should have a less tolerance for in the first place. But when it comes to smaller offenses, I think that really we should try to work towards understanding exactly what had gone on, and just by a case-by-case basis, figure out what we can do to solve the issue and move forward. I think when it comes to cases of griefing, definitely, as my two debate opponents were speaking about, making backups frequently is pretty good. I would say even that one thing that might assist especially is making backups on Thursdays before Friend Fridays, in case a person added on Friend Friday is the source of any kind of big event of griefing. I think that really to go on the topic of my tree, it did happen, but I think that because it was something that is, even though I put a lot of effort into it, regularly small, a lot of my perception towards that is I just want the resources back to build it again, and an apology. And I think for a lot of things, it doesn't necessarily have to immediately go into, oh, this big, huge conspiracy thing. I think that, it very well could have been an accident, and maybe someone isn't talking about it because they're worried that, it coming forward is a scary thing, and potentially, a big confrontation. But I think that continuing to foster an environment that encourages communication among players and forgiveness sort of
You cut out for a sec.
Oh gosh darn it. I sorry. I think continuing to foster an environment that encourages communication among players and encourages an environment of forgiveness and being able to um move on and such will very much help create a healthy atmosphere where people feel comfortable to apologize and people feel comfortable to work towards a solution together.
All right, thank you so much. We're gonna go to Strike now. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yeah, just one more time.
How will you handle rule enforcement and conflict resolution to ensure a fair and enjoyable environment for everyone, including minimizing griefing, killing, and
The effort isn't to minimize griefing. The effort is to get rid of griefing. There should be no instance of griefing outside of a silly bit or without permission, etc. There's no tolerance for that. If you were to log in and your house is gone in a server like this, that's absolutely unacceptable. And my campaign has always had a zero tolerance rule for that kind of thing. We've been through the worst when it comes to that, and it's worked effectively. When it comes to moderating the players, sometimes players are not a good fit, and that happens. And we've seen that happen, and we've had to take care of it before, unfortunately a couple of times this season. But we've always exercised a temporary removal strategy to hopefully see if these people are ready in the future, because sometimes, people just may not be ready for the kind of slower server and closer community that we have fostered here. Uh-oh. We lost one. Anyways. Fostering
Sorry, they're no longer in
community
the
is
running.
definitely the best way, hands down, to prevent griefing, to prevent unwarranted killing, and neither of them should even be tolerated if they occur. When it comes to settling disputes, I've recently written a new system for having the house members help solve resolutions and for the owner to step in if necessary. Because we don't want everything to fall on the owner constantly, but we also want as much impartial view as possible when it comes to these kinds of scenarios. It's unfair for everything to come down on one person, and sometimes two parties to struggle to agree. Having the house, 3 people, will help make sure that hopefully these kinds of situations are minimized, but when they happen, we can move past them and hopefully reach a resolution that everybody's content with. We're constantly trying to come up with better ways to moderate the players, better ways to bring our community together, and as we learn, we are improving. There's no doubt about that. I just plan to continue doing what we're doing, while also listening to the community for better ways, better ideas, and listening to the community if they ever need anything in this department. That's my piece.
All right, thank you so much. Again, you guys have been doing absolutely amazing. I have 2 more questions for you, and then we'll go to Rin. How do you plan to ensure that Mirthcraft remains a welcoming and inclusive space for players old and new? All right, we're gonna start off with Mark.
I think going back to, maintaining active players, I think that's also something that should be considered in this. It is, like I said before, is making sure that everyone is heard. That is very important, especially in a server like this. We're very tight-knit. We're very, hey, there's a lot of people here just for this debate. People care about this server, as you could see. And
Absolutely.
yeah, it's crazy to see how many people are here that care about, this server. And I think that hearing people out and hearing not just old people, but new people too, there's a lot of ideas that will be going around on this server. And it's very important that everyone's voice is heard. It doesn't matter what generation you come into the server, your voice still should be heard. It's a different matter in voting. That's something that we've talked about, where you have to be at least a generation old to vote. But I think that is, that's a whole different thing. But in the sense of events, or in the sense of, just doing something as a community, I think everyone's voice should be heard, is allowed to be heard, and that's what I want to build upon. Can you say the question again? I just want to make sure I don't miss anything in that.
How do you plan to ensure that Mirthcraft remains a welcoming and inclusive space for players old and new?
So going on the welcoming and inclusive, we have already taken, there's some third generation players here. Shout out to y'all. Welcome to Mirthcraft. And they have been brought to the server because of we made a new rule that in order to be added to the server, you need to play in Friend Friday for either once or twice. And then you'll be added based on the consideration of the owner. And I think that's a good way to keep up community and keep up the welcomeness of this, because if everyone can get a feel for the new players on Friend Friday, if someone who is going to be potentially joining, if they can earn the respect on that day from others and continue to keep that respect on maybe the next week, then there's a chance that they could be added soon, because people are already known of them. They're not coming into the server, or they're not coming in on a new day just seeing someone that they've never seen on the server before, and vice versa. That person isn't going to be joining the server without knowledge of the server, who's in it, the community that has already been built. So I think Friend Friday is one of the coolest things that we have in the server, and I think as an owner, I will continue to build upon that and allow for people to bring their friends in, or maybe just even new players that may want to join the server. It doesn't need to be particularly always friends. It could be a mutual of someone that may want to join the server, but as long as they can get the feel of the server and people can get a feel for them before they possibly join, I think that's very important to keeping the welcomeness and the inclusiveness to the server.
All right, thank you so much. Now for is Pokes?
Poke's having issues if we want to go to strike.
Oh, we'll just go to strike and then go to Poke. If you would like me to repeat the question, I can do that.
Yeah, one more time for me.
How do you plan to ensure that Mirthcraft remains a welcoming and inclusive space for players old and new?
We especially do this by the generation system. We're trying to add as many people as we can, but still keep the community that Mirthcraft has. As Marshy mentioned, yes, we introduced the Friend Friday system. And that's the best way to make sure that everybody's compatible and that everybody has a good time. We don't want to add somebody that might not work well with the rest of the Mirthers. But that doesn't mean that we want to gatekeep Mirthcraft and keep people out. Welcome back. We went to me because you were having some tech issues, so you'll go after me.
Makes sense. That's all right. You can continue.
I have big aspirations for Mirthcraft 8. When we created Season 8, the Forever Season, the goal is not to go for a few years. The goal is to go as long as we possibly can. And by implementing... I'm so sorry, my stutter is through the roof today. By implementing the new owner rotation system, Friend Fridays, the generation system, hopefully this prepares the server to go on for as long as possible, even beyond from when I'm owner or even playing on the server, or any of us. I want Mirthcraft to continue, and for the community to continue serving new Mirthers, serve people beyond us. I want people to be able to really enjoy their time here, but be ready to head out whenever they're done. And be assured that Mirthcraft will continue, even without us. The goal is to make Mirth a place for as many people as possible, while maintaining the original concept of why we created Mirthcraft Season 1 in the first place, which was a fresh, vanilla server with a few friends and just to have fun on the weekends. Remember the original purpose. And by remembering why this server exists and making sure that everybody who's about to head into our doors knows of this purpose, it helps create a better, more vibrant, more inclusive, and best of all, more motivated and excited community. I think that's amazing. And I think the community that we have right now is stronger than ever with these systems that we've created. And right now, I have no intention to deviate from what we're currently doing, except to continue inviting people until we eventually get to say, as a community together, we're full house, and we're happy with it that way. Everybody's opinion matters, and everybody should see each other as equals. While the owner runs the server and the main functions, we're still equal to each other because we're all human. We all have creative spirit, and we all want to help each other. That's all I have to say.
Can I add upon that?
Yes, of course.
So going back to, the sense of community, the sense of welcomeness, when we were creating what is it called? The Declaration
Mirth
of
of Rights.
Mirthcraft?
Mirth of
Rights, yes. When we were creating the Mirth of Rights just a few days ago, I had heavily enforced that builds are to be unkept by new players, because Strike said we want this season to go on for a long time, and that means that people are going to come and go, and that means that builds are going to be left. And I think it's very important to keep the validity of this place alive. We want to see the evolution of this place. And if people are just going to tear down builds and not respect who built that before, like who came before them and built that, I think that's not going to, keep that welcomeness. Because if someone's going
to cut you, but remember that we did make the former Mirthers Act, which protects buildings without a
this is what I'm going into.
Yes.
So I wanted to heavily enforce that it's very important that builds are to be unkept or Are you good?
Me?
Builds are, yeah. Builds
sorry,
are to
I
be.
was finishing my drink.
No, you're chill. Builds are to be left decided by the house. Because people are gonna come and go. People are gonna build something, but if they're coming into this and saying, "Oh, if I'm gonna build here, but I'm gonna leave eventually, so I'm just gonna tear it down. Why am I gonna do that?" So I wanted to enforce to the whole community that we should enact that, and like Strike said, it was enacted and it is going to be enforced by the house to keep the builds alive, so that players are encouraged to keep building, keep expanding, keep evolving this server, so that we are able to build upon that welcomeness and that inclusiveness.
What about half-built buildings by old Mirthers?
Half-built buildings. That is something that has already come into play. And like we said, I think that is something that should be decided by the owner and the house. If there is a build that is not fully built and that is taking up a space that could be used by someone else, if the if the member is gone or if they haven't logged on in a really long time, I think it's important to either message them and say, hey, are you going to be logging on soon? Or, they may possibly end up being kicked because of their inactivity, or going along the lines of that. But it's important to hear what people are saying. If the house is saying, yeah, we should take that build down to allow for someone to build there and expand upon, because there's some builds in the city that may be taken down right now because of the because of the unfinished builds that are there, because this city is brand new. We want to keep building upon that and keep it fresh, keep it looking, really, really awesome. So I think going back to the house and as an owner, it'll be your choice with the house to decide, should that be taken down? Should that be a place where someone can build something new?
I'd like to let Poke answer the question before anything else.
I'll repeat the question for you, Poke.
I remember the question. That's
okay,
all right.
no worries.
But thank you. So I feel very strongly about creating a server which is a welcoming and inclusive space. In fact, I'm currently in the process of receiving a DEI certificate. DEI, if you don't know, stands for Diversity, Equity, Inclusion. And that is essentially a little signifier that I have done significant training in order to help create spaces which are diverse and celebrate equity and inclusion. But additionally, what's more inclusive than having an LGBT woman as an owner? Like I feel like that kind of adds something there. I don't often hear about server owners who are women. Of course, we have Arty here, but Arty is co-owner, and like again, just a lot of servers seem to have men dominating the space. I won't say all servers, but a lot of servers seem to have men dominating the space, and so I feel like I could add something there. Um, I think that so Marshy touched on wanting to hear everyone's voices, and I think that is an important aspect, which is why I feel so strongly that events should be planned ahead of time so that those with later time zones or those who are busy at the time that the poll is created have a chance to respond and have a chance to have their voice heard. I think that it's really important to make sure that we are all seen and heard and feel welcomed, and making sure to foster that open environment of communication also will help with if someone's not feeling heard, if someone's feeling like, maybe they're having a conflict with another member, making sure that they know that the owner is a person who they can come to and speak with. And I have always been very open that if someone needs someone to talk to, if someone needs solutions or just a listening ear, I am always there for them. I mean, even if I don't become owner, the offer still goes out to everyone, by the way. If you ever need anybody, my DMs are open. But I think that it's so important to really make sure that everybody is heard and equally celebrated, and that we foster an environment that has no tolerance for ableism and racism and homophobia and ageism and all of that. I think that it's very, very important to make that boundary clear from the get-go.
All right, thank you guys so much. We're gonna now go to Rin's questions. Unfortunately, Rin will not be here to and to ask the questions, but I have the questions and I will be asked.
All
All right, the first one is for Strike. You seem to be putting up a lot of posters pointing out the flaws of your fellow runner. What is the reasoning behind it?
Exactly as you said. It's pointing out the flaws. It's not meant to put anybody down, and it's not meant to make anybody feel bad. But it is meant to serve as, a PSA. Think of it this way. Everybody has their flaws, and it's important to make sure that those flaws are heard. Mostly everybody knows my flaws, especially with how long I've been running the server. But it's also just friendly competition in my eyes, and we both had a lot of fun doing this. I think that by putting up these posters, it helps stir the fire, motivate people. Marshy saw these posters, got back up stronger, and has come back swinging full force. And we've had a lot of fun. And personally, while it did serve to help my campaign gain a little more traction, it primarily served to get the election running full steam ahead and making sure everybody was having a good time. If Marshy was not okay with it, and if server or dungeon were not okay with it, I would not have done it. And I made sure that they were okay with it before putting them up.
All right, thank you so much. The next one is for Marshy. You say you have owned before. What has happened to these previous servers that you've owned?
So yeah, I've owned a lot of servers. Some of them being, there's a specific server that I'm thinking of right now. Daisy SMP was my most known server, I feel, that I have owned. What happened to that server was There was it went on for a couple of months, but I think there was a lack of motivation inside of the community that went across everyone, so it kind of died because of that. I don't think it was anything that I did as an owner for people to, you know, to leave, because I was very active on that server, and I think that something that I've learned is that if you're active on a server, then others will be or if you're active on a server as an owner, then others will also be active because they're seeing that the owner of the server is, doing stuff, having fun. They're also going to want to do it. So I don't think it was something that I particularly did. I think it was the members of the server maybe lost interest or went on to other things. I know that some actually did go on to do other things, other really cool things. So it's not, I don't think it was a flaw in myself as an owner. I think it was just people wanted to move on and people wanted to, spread their wings a little bit more, which is more than okay with me. So you just find something else to do. So that's what I decided to do. I just move on, and now I'm here.
I see. How do you plan on this not to happen to Mirthcraft?
I plan on this not happening to Mirthcraft, going back to, the generations that Strike had addressed. I think if we have people coming in at a, not at a way rapid pace of, new people like every week, I think if we have maybe every 2 months we have a new generation will join in, and that will encourage those players along with old players to want to, converge and to continue to do stuff in the server, so that the new players aren't discouraged by the old players not doing anything. And I think that another way this can be, that I can make sure of that not happening again, is I think another thing that also may have led other players to not want to continue playing was the lack of events. And that is something that we've talked about a lot throughout this whole debate, is events. And I have already, before this election or anything, Rin and I put on a really cool event. It was we did a karaoke night, which is one of the best events that I've ever been a part of on a Minecraft server. So I hope to bring that joy to other people, to new members, old members, whoever is wanting to be a part of that. I think that is something that I will continue to push and to keep doing, because events are so important and so vital, and especially a server like this with such a, big community and such a diverse community. It's so important to, keep up that inclusion and that motivation for others, not only with me playing, but, a lot of other people wanting to play. That is how I will, make sure that that doesn't happen.
I see. Thank you so much. Now for Poke. Compared to your fellow runners, you have a significant lack in promotion. Due to this, we haven't been able to see most of your policies and your values. How do you plan to show us those policies and values going forward?
I mean, a lot of the promotion relies on the ability to create art for it, and I have not been able to do that. And so while I understand that my side is lacking, I am a little bit, I feel a little bit lost and overwhelmed at trying to figure out exactly how I would have gone about doing that. I know Artie, you yourself offered to make me some posters, I'm just I don't know. I feel very lost when it comes to that. Specifically about my policies. I mean, the fact that I am showing up and was so adamant that I wanted a group debate today is a sign of how I want to talk about my policies. I want to talk about what I care about and the fact that I care about this server. Strike and Marshy very much wanted to do a one-on-one debate today, and I very much was saying in DMs that I want to be able to have a group debate, specifically because I know that I don't have that otherwise crucial advertising. I mean, yeah, I don't have too much to say on the matter other than I'm here and I'm putting off 6 assignments due at midnight to be here.
That's commitment.
I see. Thank you so much. That puts a close to Rin's questions, but I have one last question for all of you. Your last question will be, why should people vote for you over the other candidates? Again, we're going from right to left, so Marshy will start and Strike will end.
I think you should vote for me over the other candidates, not because they are not worthy of ownership, because I think both of them, based on what I've heard tonight, do deserve the ownership, and I would be more than happy to have them as owner. But I think you should vote me as owner. Going to Strike, there is a billboard that says somewhere that Strike has owned over 20 servers. Man's got to be so tired that he's ready to hit the pillow and just go to sleep.
Not senile.
give him a break. Give Strike a break. Give Mirth a new set of eyes, a new set of opportunities. This is the 8th season, and I think Arty owned one of the seasons. So other than that, this server has been owned by Strike for 7 seasons. Or for 6 seasons, I'm sorry. So let's give Strike a break. Let's give someone a new set of eyes, a new set of, of skills, a new set of everything to come into this and to really, I'm going to give it my all. And I want people to know that. And as an owner, I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to play as much as I can. I'm going to make as much as I can. I'm going to, do as much as I can for this community so that we are able to have fun. We are able to keep it alive. We are able to include new people. We are able to just have a really fun time. This server is really special to me. I've only been in it for this season, but it's already become so special to me. It's a part of my daily routine. I come on Mirth to see who's on, to say what's up, to talk to my friends, and it's really cool to me that this server is so tight-knit, so welcoming, and I just want to be able to keep that and to really enforce to people that everyone is welcome. Everyone is able to do what they want to do, because at the end of the day, this is Minecraft. You are able to do whatever you want to do, and let's do it together. It's so fun that everyone is just here. We have such a cool community here already, and I want to be able to continue to do that as an owner and as someone who has owned servers before. But yeah, that's why you should vote for me. Let's keep moving. Let's get a fresh new set of eyes, and let's just have some fun.
All right, thank you so much, Mark. Now to you, Poke. Why do you think you should be voted over the others?
I think that both Marshy and Strike have admirable qualities that make them great candidates, but I similarly to what Marshy has been saying, I feel like it would be fun to have a new owner. I mean, Strike put up this whole imagine if he wins, guys. Imagine if he wins. Strike puts up this whole owner thing up for a big debate, contest situation, and then he wins and he's still owner. That's I think that it would be really good to get someone new for this first term of changing owner and be able to sort of see what we can do as a server to continue to better it. I really think again that it would be I want to be able to foster in a new era of Mirthcraft in which we can create more exciting things to do on the server, and that we can continue to try and emphasize the importance of communication. I don't feel comfortable putting down other candidates and going, I'm actually better than you. So, but I feel strongly that I could help with making Mirthcraft an even better place than it already is. But yeah, I very much dedicated to the server. You could see how much I'm dedicated to the server, because even though my internet makes me crash every 5 seconds, and even though whatever in the mods that I have sometimes crashes my game entirely, I still play very frequently. even with the issues that I face.
We applaud your commitment.
All right.
Let's
thank you so
go.
much. And now we're back to Strike. Why do you think you should be voted over?
Don't let them convince you that voting for my campaign is going to lead to a not fun, dull existence. That's not the case. While the idea of fresh eyes and fresh ideas sounds enticing for an argument, remember that... Oh, sorry, my cat is all over me. While it may sound enticing, we still have a new era upon us, even if I win and continue for one more cycle as the owner. We have the House members coming in, and the House system is going to change things even if I'm still in office. Everything's going to have to run through them, and they have more power than you think. We're heading into a new era, no matter who wins. And I want to make it very clear that both Marshy and Poke are fantastic choices. There is no wrong choice in this election. But don't vote based on your emotions or based on who's a good friend. Vote on who you think will be best for the growth and the continuation of activity of Mirthcraft. I have been innovating with Arty several new things to keep Mirthcraft going. We've been working on events, ideas, and we're still going to continue doing that, even if I am elected. And I'd like to go and ask the Mirthers for one more cycle as the owner before I bow out. If I'm voted, this would be my last cycle. And I want the chance to be able to continue providing for Mirthcraft, to continue helping players foster this community, and to continue making as inclusive of a community as possible while creating new systems that haven't been seen before in a server that runs this well. Don't vote on your emotion. Vote based on who you think is best for Mirthcraft. I sincerely believe in the voice of the Mirthers. And if the Mirthers believe that it is time for me to step down, that I've gone senile and I'm mixing my pills in the morning into a mystery smoothie, then that's fine. Because my goal at the end of the day isn't just to become an owner, isn't to retain power. The whole point of this election is to give the people a voice and to be able to give the people what they want and a better way to achieve that. Remember, one more time, everybody here is a good option. Vote on who you think is best for the job. And I ask for one more cycle to continue providing for all of you before I do take my bow out and just play as a regular Mirther. Thank you.
All right, now that will be all for questions. Thank you so much for attending. Hopefully you can take this information and vote with confidence. Thank you
Can
all.
I ask
and
one
have a good night.
question?
Yes, you're free to ask questions, yes.
All right, Strike, I have a question for you.
No.
So, your campaign is built on For Us All, right?
Yes.
And you had put up a poster the other day that said that someone in Crownhaven is a spy. Why?
Yes.
How is that including of all if you think that people are going against you? It doesn't seem that it seemed like you were separating the people of Crownhaven and saying that they weren't a part of Mirth. It felt like you're trying to get into Crownhaven because you think we're doing something evil or that we're planning on something. I don't get the point of needing a spy. If you are for everyone, you wouldn't see the necessity of putting a spy into Crownhaven because you have trust in all.
Absolutely,
that is my
I do.
question.
Now, I have a couple things to say on this. Number one, as I've stated in my first rally and the Big Beat experience, thank you, Splonk and Foss, for that interview. In no way, shape, or form is Crownhaven not a part of Mirthcraft, and in no way, shape, or form are they separated from the rest of Mirthcraft? Mirth City was intended as a project. Crownhaven is a group, but they're all part of Mirthcraft. We're all equal. When it comes to the spy, I didn't ask for a spy. I didn't go looking. It was offered. And with a community as strong as yours, it seems strange to me, for so many people who are backing you up and are loyal, that one of them is lying to you. And even offered to me without being provoked or asked to offer information to me throughout this campaign. My answer was in that poster, a resounding no, and I haven't taken any information from them since. Bottom line, and I don't want this idea painted that in any way are we trying to separate Crownhaven or isolate them or say that they're an enemy or an opposite group. We are in this together. And if we were not, I would make that extremely clear. I've said it multiple times and I'll say it again. We're all in this together. Crownhaven has done incredible things, and genuinely, I can't wait to see what they do in the future. But trying to frame this as a separation of people doesn't fly, because that's never what it was intended to be.
All right. I'm satisfied with that answer.
Are you satisfied with your care?
I am satisfied with my care. I give you 5 stars.
Thank you.
All right, I completely forgot, but we are taking audience questions.
Ooh, hello.
Please put a 1 in chat if you have a question, and I can pick.
I have about.
Maggie, you're free to ask your question first.
Oh boy, howdy, answering. I'm in the debate now. No. So going back to the question that this is for all of you, by the way. I don't know if this was clear. Going back to the question you were all asked about server safety and griefing and stealing. It's no secret that Mirth does have some mods in it. You know, like it's a fabric server. I was shocked to hear that none of you really considered Ledger, or at least I didn't hear it when I came back. I didn't hear anybody talk about Ledger. Is there a possibility that Ledger gets added in the future? It's server side, like nobody else.
What's
needs to download
Ledger?
it.
I don't know what that is
you
either.
Look in people's inventories and look in their chests and see who opened doors and broke blocks and stuff.
Oh, a logging system?
Honestly, I'm
Yes.
shocked that we don't already have
Yes,
it.
that
I kind of
actually, I was
assumed that we
planning to
had
do
it.
that tonight after the debate. That was on my to-do list today. So yeah, really
There you
good
go, there's
timing.
your
That
answer.
was good. Yeah, there's your answer. It's going to be in by the end of
There's
I
tonight.
your
assumed
answer.
that we had it.
Yeah,
Spike
it
to-
was meant to be in way earlier. That's totally on me. It was intended to be added tonight after the debate.
Good answer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Good question.
Very good
I am
question. Thank you for bringing
satiated.
that up.
You're welcome.
I think Strike forgot to take his pills this morning.
I think
How
we
did you
need to
know?
recommend this movie.
I literally skipped half my medicine today to attend.
Oh my god.
All right, we'll be taking Weepy's question next.
What?
What do you mean?
Why is Weepy Strike?
Sleepy.
What? Why is Weepy looking like Strike?
Oh, lovely.
Weepy?
Weepy?
Weepy, what's your question?
Oh.
Ooh, this is fun.
I'll read it. I'll say it as like
Yeah.
very dramatic. Okay.
Oh, okay, I'm ready.
Oh, maybe
What
I
is
should
your
read it because I'm.
No, I got this. Don't worry.
I think the moderator should be the one.
What is
you're
your
so ready
response to
to-
you killing me the other day, informing me that you were hired to kill me, or to kill when you were for the event of demise, have a white name, in which we aren't allowed to kill with white names?
Very
Can
good
I,
reading.
can I take a crack at reading it too? Are we all gonna?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
This will decide the
Dude, this is what's
presidency.
important.
This decides.
Yeah. Whoever does the best.
What is your
reading.
response to killing me the other day? Informing me that you were hired to kill when
Feel like
you,
I'm in the
for the
principal's
event
office.
of demise, have a white name in which we aren't allowed to kill with white names.
So,
Anyway, sorry, this was Spike fan.
Your Honor, Yes, I
Okay,
was
now I
hired.
read it too. I'm joking. No, I'm joking.
I was hired, and I do fully admit that I believed it was within my rights, if hired by a Reaper, to perform that action. We talked it out afterwards. I made sure if they were okay with it, and when they said they weren't and it felt unfair, we immediately reverted the action because that's wrong. Absolutely. It was a mistake on my part, but I since talked to Weepy, we reverted the name, and we've moved on since. The rules have been clarified and adjusted for this. Money is money, money talks, and technically, I'm not the one who blew you up. It was the carts. Like, I was just off to the side.
That's pedantic. That's
I feel like
pedantic.
that's an abuse of power to edit the rules after already breaking them.
Ooh.
It is not editing the rules, it's clarifying. Because if it was
you
a
didn't
genuine
specifically say
cheat,
the
wouldn't I
word edit
have
if I'm-
just
if
said,
I'm not wrong.
why don't, I would have just said, oh, it was like that all along. And we'll keep it like that. And you're still a Reaper, womp womp. And I do genuinely mean it. I was not supposed to last this long in Demise. So,
Press the button! No, I'm just kidding. Boo.
Well, if anyone has a bow, I'm just gonna stand a little bit off to the side.
Do it.
anyways, I do appreciate you bringing that up because transparency is key. But you did sign up for explosions as part of the game. I do understand your frustration, but as we've already talked it out, and I've owned up to this mistake and since clarified the rules and reverted your death, I believe that situation was already resolved, and you're just bringing it up to put me in a bad image on blast in public. Instead, if you actually were worried about it, you would have talked to me in DMs further about it. I don't actually mean that in a mean way. I'm just being dramatic for the camera. I hope that I hope that's clear. I'm not trying to be mean, I swear.
Oh wait, I have something I want to show to the crowd.
God, is it a stack of TNT?
I don't know if this is gonna work, but we're gonna see. Strike, what do you have to say about this clip?
Oh shit.
Why is there a fall guy there?
What is this? I'm confused.
What do you-
I can't hear it.
Yeah, can we turn up the volume?
You have to turn up the volume.
Strike said, if you're British, we can't allow you. That's not allowed here. So Strike is discriminating against British people. So Strike, what do you have to say for yourself?
Don't you think, audience, that the practice of, taking quotes out of context and attempting to paint them in a bad light is a little immoral? But that aside, I had a very lovely conversation today with Foss and Splunk, and we lightly touched upon this subject. But the bottom line is that no, we aren't
subject of
actually
not liking
excluding
British
the
people.
British.
That's my
That's never been
server
a
owner.
thing. That's never been a thing, never will be a thing. And
What if we
trying
did
to
that?
paint it as such with a Halloween event with me in a Fall Guys outfit. Do you want me to put the image back?
Yeah.
Seems
Play at the
a little bit like a shaky argument.
No, it was
let me,
more of a joke, but I just
yeah.
wanted to see what you would say.
Yeah. That was hilarious, though.
Yeah, because Rin showed me that earlier. I was like, I'm gonna use that.
I was like, wow. I saw the screenshot.
Can we
I was
do?
like, I
Can we
know
do
what
like
this is.
one or two more audience questions?
Yeah.
Artie?
Yeah.
I have one.
Yeah. Well, I was going in order from who put one.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Fo, you were next.
Yeah, okay, so slight issue here. I've written down a bunch of questions, so I'm just gonna find my favorite out of these and pick that one. Yeah, we haven't touched on this. A taxation system was proposed at some point, still hasn't been implemented yet, and I feel that the three of you probably have different systems where you're going about it. What are your thoughts on that?
I guess we'll go in turns for this one.
Yeah. So since we're starting with me, the taxation is supposed to be something with the MAD, and I asked Strike this: if whoever becomes owner isn't necessarily going to take over the MAD unless they want to. And I'm not sure I have not been involved with the MAD. I have no idea when the tax was going to come, but honestly, I have no reason to tax anyone. I don't want to tax anyone. Your profits are your own profits. There's no reason to tax people, especially in a Minecraft server. It just doesn't make sense, especially when people don't want to be doing like, what's 15% of my income from the shop? You don't want to be doing that in a Minecraft server. That just makes it feel more like real life. So I don't see any necessity in taxing. Maybe it would be used for, to keep people active, to make sure that they are reaching the maximum of money they would need to give to the MAD. But personally, I'm not interested in taxing anyone.
While I agree that taxation within Minecraft feels a little not fun, I think that the original purpose of taxation was specifically to encourage those with shops to continue to stock said shops and to continue to work towards better shops in order to keep their permits. I will say that I similarly have not had a lot of interaction with MAD, and I don't know a lot of how the system is currently run. I think a lot of us are kind of in a confused state right now. It's like
I'll answer.
vaguely
Yeah.
knowing what's going on and not entirely knowing exactly the clarity behind that. One of the big things that I want to do if I do become owner is be very clear with everything that I'm writing. I am, as all of my friends say, probably autistic. And so I really do appreciate clarity within statements and making sure that every single piece of information is there so that no one is lost or feeling confused. As it stands now, I do not currently have a plan for the taxation system. However, if that is something that becomes a major issue during my time as owner, I will be more than happy to take that on and work towards solutions for the future.
So I will go ahead and answer super quick where the Mirthcraft Administration Division is at. Arty, I'm gonna put you on blast.
Okay, I'm still building it.
So here's where we're at. Arty wants to build the building. She came up with the design a couple days ago, and we've been saying, oh, we'll build it tonight for the past 2 nights. We intend, hopefully, to build it tonight, but it is coming, 100%. So when the building is done, we will move forward with the taxation process. But we also wanted to give time to people to be able to build their shops and to be able to stock their shops, and just making sure that everybody's prepared and on equal footing so nobody's caught off guard whenever the taxes do start. That being said, taxes are important, and this was agreed upon when originally proposed, that taxes help the shop system stay active. It helps owners care about their shop because they're putting in that much effort to keep track of sales and to give back to the city. All profits from taxes go back into projects in Mirth City. And Crownhaven, if they request it, but we didn't really anticipate the creation of Crownhaven when we designed this, but we'll adapt. That being said, we are also working on maybe adjusting taxes for those who have a lot of wealth, because I know a lot of people were concerned about the huge issue of wealth distribution currently in Mirthcraft. And we do have intentions to tackle it, but nothing ironed out that we're sure everybody's happy with. So I'm waiting until either I don't get elected, or if I do get elected, to bring it up to the House and talk to them first before moving forward with any new plans. If you're wondering when MAD is coming, I'm just going to say very, very soon. Trademark already worked really, really hard on an amazing MAD building design, and I'm really, really excited to make it. So that's coming. I do apologize for how long it has taken, but again, I just want to make sure everybody had their shops ready and they're not going to be blindsided by having to rush.
Righto.
All right,
Anyone else
I'm going
got
to be
questions?
just gonna ask that. I know that Ira has one last question, so
Oh, good, I'm not on fire anymore. Can you hear me?
Yes.
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 Lovely. So, Marshy, I entirely agree with your taxation philosophy. If I have to file my taxes, Strike, I'm going to start a revolution.
Remember, this was
That's-
talked about before Season 8 began.
Yes.
We'll make
yes,
it
yes,
as easy as possible for
You better.
these to be done.
Also,
I promise.
I entirely do not agree with taxing the rich because they have more money. Like, what if I mined most of my wealth?
Well, this is why we're waiting to talk to the House about it. This is why I didn't make any big decisions on it currently.
I don't think you should let a podcast owner influence your decision.
What?
What?
What? What?
Oh,
Oh, you mean
Just-
about Foss?
yeah. Yes,
How dare I
because
listen to the people?
The people are the worst. What if the people suck?
Dang.
I'm joking.
Whoa, this is a running house member saying this? Whoa.
I'm watching Tyra, like, burn his house seat right now. This is wild.
I feel like even
you
if
should vote Mr.
Tyra-
fucking Mr. Fascist McGee into House there.
I
don't
I'm
think
saying
that's
this,
a good idea.
I'm saying this as politely as possible. I feel like even if you disagree with the voice of a fellow member, that we should hear out each person.
I agree.
Agreed. That's what we end it with. Listen to your fellow members.
My fellow Mirthers.
They're eating the
Alright.
deep state.
They're...
All right. Oh,
Yep. Sorry. We'll shut up.
So shameful.
all right. That will be all of the questions for today. Again, thank you for attending. Please vote with consideration of what you've just heard, and have a wonderful night.